To answer all those questions in the affirmative, then you're good to go. And it's not just that. You have to also ask, can where I have chosen to park, can it be perceived by enforcement agency to be obstructive or just not an appropriate place to park? I.e., it is not appropriate to park on an express road that even has 3 lanes, even for 1 second. Because why? From a safety point of view, vehicles on an express will be on a higher speed. If you park there and you obstruct, you're forcing them to change lanes. Now, forcing someone to change lanes on an express on high speed is very dangerous. More than likely, it will lead to a crash. So you can't park there. If you go to a market and you do not go into an off-street parking space or go and find a side street that is not obstructive to parking, and you now say, oh, because other people are parking there, I just want to park for 1 minute. 1 minute is more than enough for an accident to happen. 1 minute is more than enough for obstruction to other traffic flow to occur. So your 1 minute to you may be small, but for the country, for the state, for agency like ours, 1 minute at an inappropriate place is obstructive. And then that vehicle, if we have a tow vehicle, we will tow it.
What are the transportation agencies in Nigeria doing to educate citizens and motorists?
With a program like yours, it's all part of the education links that we have, that we use. Federal Road Safety Corps, Lamata, LASMA, any agency that has anything to do with safety on the roads, with transportation, would always look for an avenue to educate the citizenry. There's a purpose for the road. Your purpose is to move from point A to B, not to abuse other road users. Don't take advantage of vulnerable road users like children and the elderly and pedestrians. Don't say because you're inside your car that you just have rights to do whatever you want.
Obey the road signs and remember not to drive under any influence.
Fame, glamour, success, money, and all forms of flamboyance are what you associate with celebrities. But with the recent pockets of reports of Nigerian celebrities revealing their battles with depression, it calls for concern of a thin line between fame and depression, between appearance and reality, and many rhetorical questions. It is the desire of most artists to have an international deal and get international recognition. The quest for this fame and self-accomplishment continuing with a lot of the big names now relocating outside the country. Nothing seems unchanged as racism is another social menace still confronting them. This leads to depression at the expense of love for their craft. A close observation shows that social media has continuously been a contributory factor. The regular interface with imaginary audience creates a lot of tension and illusions by many of these artists. Recently, many of our favorite stars such as Ari Song, Wajay, Dija, and a host of others have been vocal about their battles with depression. Plus TV Africa spoke to some key players such as a music executive and convener, Social Media Week Lagos, Obi Asika, and a mental health.
Famous people have to keep up with, entertaining us. Famous people have to keep up with a particular personnel. Famous people have to keep up with, with all the challenges, even if they are going through a lot. We do not want to see them down. We are following them for the things that we want to get from them. They are inspiring people, they're influencing people, they're empowering people, they're doing a whole lot. So whatever they may be going through, the society, we don't want to see that part of them, even if they know they may be going through that is it. So they have to just keep on being, that person we want to see.
we should not be calling talents celebrities. Yes, they have become celebrities, but they became celebrities because of their talents, because of what they do. They are not just celebrities because they exist. So everybody, from my experience in life, all creative people have challenges in terms of putting together their process. And every time, it's like anywhere in the world, if you don't hear of your favorite actor for 5 years, it's one of two things. It's just A, they're not working, and B, they're not at this point in time getting offers. So what I would say is that a lot of people, if you work in the entertainment industries, if you work in those spaces, you will know that it is a high stress, high anxiety business. So therefore, the people who are working in these businesses are constantly seeking for affirmation and for support to see them through what they're doing. So in that regard, if you're in the public eye and you're constantly having to keep up appearances, it can become very, very difficult, especially if things are not going as well as they used to go in the past.
There was a time in my life I passed through depression, but I think it's not because of my career. It's because naturally I'm not the type that, things people say get to. Fine, I feel concerned when they say things or they expect me to live in a certain way and I'm not living that life. I feel concerned and I feel like, but it doesn't really get to me. So if I ever had depression, it wasn't basically on my career level.
That would be great. In fact, that would really, 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 help in this advocacy that, have been blazing the trail in Africa, trying to change the narrative and let it be a movement for people to understand that mental health is as important as our physical health, if not more important. And for the fact that it's intrinsically linked to our physical health, we have to guard, protect, and prioritize our mental health at every given point in time. So if we start seeing the media and entertainment industry putting our mental health as part of their package, it may not necessarily be a department because that's a tall order, but ensuring that from inception, when they are setting up that business, they incorporate what we call an employees assistance program. It's a subtle way of incorporating mental health services within your organization. What that just means is that as a business owner and having artists and producing whatever you're doing in media and entertainment, you and your employees or you and your gang, you and your group have a safe space where you have been able to build a culture of compassion that individuals in that organization can speak up, can speak out, can seek for help from professionals in rendering this employees assistance program.
I don't actually agree that record labels, entertainment companies, or businesses should actually be having mental health departments. I think mental health is a very, very specialized issue. What they should be doing is being aware of mental health and have mental health professionals that they can relate to if they have issues with any of their talents or clients. Unfortunately, for many years, it has almost been stigma here. So people do not engage the topic and they don't discuss their problems. But definitely a lot of talents and a lot of people in society have mental health issues and issues with depression and anxiety and other things of that nature. So it's important to relate to mental health professionals who can help when you have somebody or friends or family or clients or talents who have any issues at all. You could you could insist that your clients and your talents do have regular counseling sessions, do have relationships with counselors and psychiatrists that they can have conversations and unload and unbundle any issues they might have. The best thing anybody can do is to stay engaged with the talent. So the talent, and that means that understand and know your talent very well. Understand what makes them tick, what makes them click, when they are happy, to be happy, or to be in a stable state of mind and frame of mind to enable them to produce their best work. And that normally is, if you're doing that, that means the talent has a strong manager. You know, strong management is key. And that doesn't necessarily come from the label. That could come from the artist side. But the artist manager, the person that really interfaces every day with the artist, a lot of times the label is literally just there to provide distribution, retail, marketing, and finance.
One dominant recommendation is for this artist to live in their realities and not all about impressing fans who change loyalty at slightest disappointment by their so-called quasi-demigods, whose foibles are as real as any man on the street. The story of Michael Jackson, who died in 2009, and later Whitney Houston in 2012, are few of these sad reminders that despite fame and pageantry, one's mental health must not be ignored. Reporting for Plus TV Africa, Ife Oshunkeye.
Sights like these have become commonplace around Lagos, Nigeria's commercial hub. Street beggars looking pitiful, others stretching their hands, calling for alms or scuttling for limited meals or gifts handed them by gracious passers-by. However, Lagos does not seem alone in this. Ibadan, an ancient city in Oyo, southwest Nigeria, isn't left out. The pace-setter state also has a teeming number of beggars, many of them immigrants from Niger and Chad. Halima is a 37-year-old mother of this kid. Daily, she heads for the streets to make a living off street begging.
Some people they give me 10 and some people they give me 20 now, 15 now. So the bar is for Yoruba where they sell us.
She tells us that her street begging business pays off a lot in Nigeria.
Nigeria good. Nigeria they give us food, they give us clothes, they give us everything. Nigeria is fine, nothing in me. Nigeria is good. I don't stay in Nigeria 3 years.
Now back to Lagos at Jaganle precisely. A suburb dominated by low-income earning Nigerians is where we find Fatima, a 15-year-old who migrated from Bauchi and was introduced to a life of street begging by her auntie.
My mommy don't have money. The money where she don't have, where she give us to eat. She don't have money but put us for school.
Pension made all the difference.
Ba ni da jari ne. Ba jari. Shi ne yasa nake yi kuma wannan oga shi ne ya zo shi ya ce in daina yin bara in kama sana'a in bayar yara na biyu makaranta na bashi yara na wa'annan guda biyu makaranta. Yawa.
Currently, the begging system in Nigeria is structured, in a way that these beggars are most times being imported from the north, to beg, and there are those who they remit to.
A 2013 survey posted by Science Direct indicated that the total population of beggars in Nigeria stood at 12.4 million persons as of 2013. The Northwest hosted 41.1%, the Northeast hosted 28.2%, the North Central hosted 12.9%, leaving Southern Nigeria, including the Southwest, the South-South, and the Southeast, with 17.8%. Today, Fatima is enrolled in a school, while her mum runs a petty trade.
Shekara ta 25 a nan Lagos. Ina zanne wannan ya ce shi wannan oga ya je ce bara ba kyau. Na ce bara ba kyau oga ya ce yi. Sai na ce ni na barbara na kama sana'a. Sai ya ce ki ban yaranki makaranta. Shine yara na guda biyu na bashi makaranta suke zuwa makaranta. Yawwa. To kin ji mu garinmu muna Bauchi a ƙasar Bauchi muke kuma garinmu jama'are local. Jama'are local garinmu shekara ta 55. Yawwa to yanzu dai muna nan muna maleji a nan. Kuma a cikin hakan nan ba mu samu jari ba jari. Ba mu da jari amma muna nan muna maleji.
They are thankful, but together they feel that street begging is wrong.
Bara ba kyau.
Make them find another work. That beg is no good.
Well, unfortunately, their gospel doesn't seem popular for these crop of beggars found on the other end of Lagos Island, Ajah precisely. For these ones, life seems to be about waking up each morning, hoping to get alms from sympathetic passers-by.
Gwamnati ta ce za ta iya mana, kuma gwamnati ba ta iya mana ba. Mun zo muna fama ga wahala, ga rana, ga yunwa ta ishi.
A cikin yaran mun da babanmu ya yi fani ne babba. Duk wanda suke bayana duk kanana ne ba su san komai ba. No, I know the bed. I know go bed. I know go bed. I will give my daddy. May put me for school.
Jigawa wahala ce ta kawo mu, mijina ne ya mutu. Mijina ne ya mutu. Shi ne ya sa na zo ni. Ba kwan ne ya sa na zo ni ba. Nema na zo ni ci da bakina.
Na diba fa kaina.
Ba ta iya Ingilishi ba.
Wa diba kaina. Ba mu ni yunwa. Karata guda.
Some of these passers-by think that street begging constitutes a nuisance.
We Nigerians are the ones that are still making these guys be on the road.
Okay.
Normally, we should not give them money. We should stop giving them money. You understand? When we are giving them money, then we are supporting it.
Okay.
So when we stop giving them money, they will move.
Since they beg for, let's say, quite some time, and I think they should try and raise up something and delve into one business or the other rather than begging it.
Why do people take to street begging? We spoke to a psychologist.
Begging starts from environment where there's deprivation from basic amenities and where there's poverty. However, once the habit starts, it becomes a disease of the neural system where it becomes self-replicating. Once a person goes on the roadside and asks for alms, and that person's behavior finds expression, the normal way the brain works is that habit or that behavior now becomes habitual. It's a self-replicating habit, and so several people who tried the first time and they were able to get a few naira from that begging habit, they will be chasing that feeling. There's a feeling that comes from begging and getting someone to give you alms.
In Lagos, the number of child beggars and adult beggars, experts say, runs into over 1,000, as it would be recalled that earlier in 2020, some beggars numbering over 1,000 blocked the entrance to the Lagos State House of Assembly and the governor's office to protest against what they termed undue harassment and arrest by officials of the state government. With three northern states of Kano, Niger and Nasarawa recently banning street begging, the Lagos state government may not have officially banned street begging, but has constantly wasted no time to reiterate its position on the zero tolerance for street begging.
It's illegal. In Lagos, the law does not tolerate it. There is a law that is against street begging, and we are trying to enforce the law. We are actually enforcing the law because anybody who is caught doing street begging in Lagos is going to face prosecution. And if they are kids, they can be taken up the streets and taken to centers. If you are brought before a magistrate for begging, you can be fined up to 30,000 naira, or you can be sent to 1 year imprisonment.
Some schools of thought believe that if people were not given to street begging, there wouldn't be beggars on the streets.
we should give to beggars, but not those who have the capacity to walk. If you want to look at it, you need to find what is the definition of a beggar. Is it somebody who is incapacitated, or is it somebody who has just chosen begging as a lifestyle? If it's somebody who has chosen begging as a lifestyle, no. But if it's someone who is incapacitated, if you go to other climes, they have people who are incapacitated, but there's a way they are taken care of. If Nick was in Nigeria, he would have been a street beggar. But today, Nick is far richer than some industrialists in this nation. Why? Because there are nations that have provided some sort of support.
So what does religion say about street begging?
According to the Quran and the Hadith of the Prophet Sallallahu Alaihi Wasallam, we are told that we should earn a living in the most legitimate way. So Islam does not encourage street begging, doesn't encourage begging at all. Yes, Islam encourages zakah and sadaqah, which is given to those people in need, but not to people that are able-bodied, that can actually work and earn a living. So we don't Islam does not encourage begging. Like training is a good place to start. Education, educating them to make them understand that even the Islamic religion, because you see that a lot of these people, they've been brainwashed thinking that it's okay. And even in Nigeria, because even now, we look at the people that are begging on the streets. People literally beg everywhere now, even on social media. You see people going on social media to beg in a way that maybe you call it a sophisticated kind of begging. So I think the first thing is education, to educate those people that it is not acceptable. Even the religion that they practice does not accept it. It's totally unacceptable.
Some people have made a life out of begging. No, that is not scriptural. The Bible said, he that does not walk should not eat. But let him, then secondly, let him that steals steal no more, so that he can walk, so he can have to give. So we are permitted to give to beggars, provided that, or let me put it this way, we should give to beggars who are incapacitated, not those who have the capacity to walk. If you've got the capacity to walk, go and walk.
The state government considers street begging as unlawful, but what is being done to contain it?
There are centers that they are being taken to any time they are caught doing that, and they are taken to those centers, and they are being fed there, they are being clothed there, and the government is totally responsible for their upkeep, so that nobody is encouraging a street begging. But anybody who is found taking off the streets 1 or 2, 3 times and is still doing it, the person may go to jail.
Can street beggars be rehabilitated?
I've worked with a particular person who had access to get a job years after begging, but because that has become habitual and that feeling is always, drives home that fulfillment, the person declined the job at the expense of a paying job, because the brain had been wired to get a reward for not doing anything. Yeah, they can be rehabilitated into the society by therapy and coaching. Therapy to help them alter that way of thinking, coaching to help them so that they can charge after the goals in an unstoppable manner. They certainly can be rehabilitated, but it takes work, and it takes the desire of that person to want to stop that habit. No matter how professional the therapist or the coach they're working with is, if they're not determined to leave, it will be difficult for us to ride on that energy and make them break free from that particular habit.
With governments at all levels working towards the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 1, which is ending poverty, we do hope that the number of street beggars in Lagos reduces remarkably.
This is it for upcoming artists to blow in Nigeria.
Welcome to Plus Trending. I am Bookie November, your host, saying thank you for joining us on today's episode.
Welcome back. It's tea time on Plus TV Africa.
Practice makes perfect. I'm not perfect yet, but I'm a lot better than I used to be.
He's a king. He's entitled to marry 100 if he wants to.
Nigeria has produced and continues to produce great writers who have won great accolades and recognition for their work. When discussing African literature, names like Chinua Achebe, Wole Soyinka, and Buchi Emecheta. But beyond these writers, exist modern writers redefining the fate of literature in Nigeria, Africa, and globally. 1. Chimamanda Adichie, the recipient of a MacArthur Foundation Fellowship, was born on the 15th of September 1977 in Enugu, Nigeria. As a teenager, Chimamanda left for the United States and gained a scholarship to study communication at the Drexel University in Philadelphia, then pursued a degree in communication and political science at Eastern Connecticut State University. Her works have been translated into over 30 languages and has appeared in various publications, including The New Yorker, the O. Henry Price Stories, and the Financial Times. Some of her books, like The Purple Hibiscus, Half of a Yellowstone, and Americana, have won various awards. Her 2012 talk, We Should All Be Feminists, started a worldwide conversation about feminism and was published as a book in 2014. Tomi Adeyemi. Tomi, the author of Children of Blood and Bone, was born on August 1st, 1993, in the United States to parents who emigrated from Nigeria. After graduating Harvard University with an honors degree in English literature, she received a fellowship to study West African mythology, religion, and culture in Salvador, Brazil. Her debut novel, Children of Blood and Bone, has spent over 2 years on the New York Times bestseller list, and its film adaptation is currently in active development with Disney's Fox and Lucasfilms. She was named one of Time magazine's 100 most influential people. She is a Hugo and Nebula award-winning Nigerian-American writer and storyteller based in Los Angeles, California. In 2020, she was named one of Forbes 30 Under 30 in media, and her website has been named one of the best websites for writers by Writers Digest. Teju Cole. Teju Cole is a novelist, photographer, and curator. He was born in 1975 in the U.S. He is currently the Gore Vidal Professor of the Practice of Creative Writing at Harvard University. His novella, Every Day is for the Thief, was named a Book of the Year by the New York Times, The Globe and Mail, NPR, and The Telegraph, and shortlisted for the PEN Open Book Award. Another one of his